stereo. Don't compare us to anything, this a different scenario. We break records while we pushing the culture forward. Great music and big vibes right in that order. Intellectually petty radio on the stereo. Don't compare us to anything, this a different scenario. We break records while we pushing the culture forward. Great music and big vibes right in that order.
And you are now tuned in to another episode of Intellectually Petty Radio, brought to you by M3S3 Clothing. Men make moves and suckers stand still. And as always, on the mighty Nerd DJs Radio Network. Yo, it's getting redundant, man. You already know we only rock with legends around here. And today is absolutely no exception. Super TV producer Biff Lawson is in the building, and we're gonna go over the litany of shows he has produced or been involved in. It's crazy. If you do not know this, brother, you soon will. Matter of fact, you can Google Biff Lawson and thank me for the interview later. Well, we got his hand.
Sorry about that. I'm on the road right now, headed to a production. What's going on, man? Good to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yo, man, thank you, man. How's life? How's your family?
Everybody is good, man. Just took a trip to Belize. That's where I'm from. I went to go visit some family, got some downtime. It's greatly appreciated, man. How about you? How's everybody?
Everybody's doing good. We don't, we're not traveling around the world, but we're doing what we can.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate that. Always good to be talking to another brother in the media space, of course.
Yo, man, I was looking over your resume, bro, and it's like just how.
I appreciate it, man. It's been a long journey, and I got to tell you, I appreciate this, and of course, I couldn't say no to the interview because a lot of people don't know. I started out just like you, interviewing people, trying to find my lane in media, trying to, get my foot in the door, and then I flipped that into my career now as a TV producer. So it was like a crazy transition, but I'm here.
Okay, I saw First 48 on the list.
Yes, First 48. I did that show for a long time. I got to say, okay, First 48. Well, let me start from the beginning. How I got to First 48 from podcasting. So I was podcasting my ass off a couple of years ago, and in that I was able to do some radio and some funny stuff, and I got noticed by some people over at VH1, and I started writing for like the Black Ink shows. A couple of their reality shows, because at the time I was much younger. I wasn't as gray as I was, so I was considered cool. And I was the cool guy getting to write and help some of the dialogue and help them understand, our voice and give our voice back to the folks that were producing those shows. And then, eventually I got tired of that stuff and I moved over to true crime once I got an opportunity with First 48. Have you seen First 48?
You mean First 48 Snitches?
Yeah, that was a good time working on that show. It was kind of dark, looking at murder all the time, but as an art form, getting to research that stuff and make those stories come to life, from a lifeless thing, it's just incredible. And at the same time I was doing that, I was working on live PD, so I was working on the #1 and #2 true crime show at the same time.
Yo, how like behind the scenes, how do you put together a First 48?
Well, literally from the start of it, you there's a bunch of murders that were filmed, and you got to watch the murder like from the start to the finish. Make sure somebody got caught for the murder. Make sure we have footage from the murder. It's a lot of really dark stuff where you're digging into murder, and sometimes not every murder is a First 48 episode. So you're looking for murders details, like, okay, who's responsible for this murder? Did this person have beef? Was it his teacher that was it his ex-girlfriend? What is it? You got to look at all those parts, and you got to just tell the most juicy story. A lot of my stuff is comedy specifically, so it was hard to bring comedy into First 48. But it wasn't really that challenging, I don't think, but it was a good time, but just really finding the juicy details of murder and then seeing if you could bring that alive through television.
You ever worry that we are disproportionately represented?
That's what was so difficult about it. A lot of it was street beef. It's like street level guys that got into beef with each other, and things turned ugly. You know, it was a shootout at a gas station that was really some bullshit. And, you know, it's not exploitative because, you know, a lot of people came forward and they're willing to be on the show and details emerge and they're working with the producers in some ways. But yeah, we were disproportionately murdered on the show. So that was hard to watch sometimes if you're just chasing that, seeing like 4 or 5 different things, encounters of, you know, young black men that look just like me that could have been avoided by, you know, just forget about it, walk away. And instead I'm, you know, working on this, turning this into a program for a major TV network. You know, a small beef, an argument over stepping on somebody's shoes or talking to the wrong girl.
And like we're getting a little lag in I guess whatever area you're in right now. So I do apologize for that.
Was that?
I said we're getting a little lag.
My bad. Sorry about that.
No, you know, you can't help it
Oh,
when
let me
you're
make sure I'm
driving
not on
around.
Wi-Fi. Yeah, I'm sorry about this. We're on the way to the studio right now. We got a show. I'm with my lead producer of my new series, Sean Ferguson. We're headed to, we got a live show at 8 o'clock right now. So unfortunately, I'm on the way here.
You gotta do what you gotta do, bro. I'm not mad at that. I appreciate you taking the time out. So was First 48 the first show you produced?
No, the first ever show I produced was Black Ink Chicago,
Okay.
season 1, episode 1.
That's Caesar, right?
Yeah. Oh no, that was the one with Ryan, the guys in Chicago. But I did produce Caesar, Black Ink, the same time as that. So I started with the Black Ink series. Those were my first 2 television credits.
What was the most enjoyable about that?
Wow, long time.
Most difficult about that, and most enjoyable,
So what was most enjoyable?
and most difficult.
So what was difficult about that was the people that are doing that. They're not. Sometimes they don't understand the culture. You know, I'm trying to translate from how we see things and how we do things in our reality to a corporate reality that is, you know, I want it to be representative of business. I don't want us to look like fools. So it's hard to try to make stuff like that look really good and look really positive when a lot of the stuff is fighting and a lot of the stuff is somewhat ignorance of how people are behaving. That's the most difficult part of it. But the most creative and fun part about it is just bringing these people in their essence, you know, people that otherwise wouldn't be filmed to like the masses, so that we could watch everybody as they are and see who they are and really representative of us. That's what I got to do. I was able to tell our story our way. You know, I wasn't an executive, but I was the person telling the story, and I got to tell the story my way. Like, no, that's whack. You're not going to do it like that. No, that's not how we talk. That's not how it is. But being able to step in the middle of that, even with the true crime shows, that was the most fun part about it, to accurately represent my culture.
So what's true crime show? What is that? What is that specifically?
True crime is any show based on like law enforcement, like First 48, for example, shows that are centered around law enforcement and solving crime and stuff like that. So that's what I really felt more impactful. That's why I got out of reality TV in that like traditional docu-soap sense. True crime felt more impactful to me.
So do you get to know these cops?
Yeah, for sure. I know a lot of cops. It's like, again, they're just like, it's the same thing. It's almost a different side of a same coin, because like in reality TV with like Caesar and these guys, you're portraying them one way, and it may come off good or it may come off bad. So you get to see the good and the bad in the cops, just like this good and the bad with like reality TV folks. It's all about making somebody, or not making somebody, bringing how somebody is to a screen in whatever the truest sense is. And that's what I really like about that stuff, being able to tell true stories.
So with the cops, do they have last approval?
I'm sorry, was that?
Do they have last approval on what's shown?
No, I don't think it works like that. That really goes through like the legal departments and stuff like that. Me as a storyteller, I'm just trying to figure it out. But there's like a whole bunch of other people that handle like the legal stuff and what say they have. And I don't think it's really them having a say, more so as us representing what happened accurately. So it's not really, there's no good guy, there's no bad guy, it's just what happened. So they can't really get in the way and say, I don't like how that happened, I don't think. But that's like a legal thing. I don't really get too far apart, but it's just all accurate and true stories.
Where you from, bro?
I'm from the Bronx. I'm from uptown near Reed Avenue, 238th Street and White Plains Road.
What was it like growing up?
Was that?
What was it like growing up?
Oh, it was absolutely fantastic. I had a good group of people around me growing up in the Bronx that we're still dear friends to this day. Funny enough, the people that I'm working with now, we all got together and we formed our own production company, and we're doing our own productions these days. And it's the greatest thing to be doing that with people that you grow up with, that you trust, that you know really well. So growing up in the Bronx is an amazing experience. It's not what people say. It's not as bad as they say. I like the Bronx a lot more than Brooklyn. I think we have the best Jamaican food, the best culture. But people just have that stigma because the Bronx is the last real place in New York. So the Bronx is like the last real borough. It's not been gentrified all the way yet. And like going to where we go, like Nereid Avenue, that's where I'm headed right now. I'm still go home, still go to the same block, the corner store. That's where I'm from. And that's where I always stay.
Okay, so I'm looking on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it.
Yes,
And
sir.
what you got pinned is 50 told me, go ahead and modify your current routine. And if some people are not pleased, so be it, and I shall observe financial upswing. So you chopping it up with 50?
Nah, so that's a line. It's a Kanye and Banks line that I would translate it. So I did comedy, and what my big joke was is to translate, like with the reality TV and the cop shows, translate our culture into, like, let's say the white world. And that's just that line. Let me wrap that line to you. 50 told me, go ahead and switch my style up and let them hate and watch the
Watch the
money
money
pile
pile
up.
up. Yeah.
That's how I said it in that way. So that's like in my comedy, I would do a lot of that. I'm like, okay, because I did comedy in front of a lot of like all white rooms, and it's like, okay, you guys don't get it, but let me explain it to you in this way where you understand it. So that tweet, just I forgot who, some DJ liked it, and it just kind of blew up, and people still like, that's like one of my most impactful tweets. People see that one, they're like, oh man, that's funny. I get it.
So how long did you do comedy? Are you still doing it?
I still dabble. I have been doing comedy. So I did comedy. So before I got into entertainment fully, I did music and I did radio on the side, and as well as comedy. And that's maybe since, let's call that like 5 years before I got into actual production and working like fully. I had my own comedy shows at the Stand NYC, greatest comedy club in New York City. They would let me do my own shows there. And I kind of like, my main thing and my thread throughout life has been translating our culture to, again, the other side. So at the Stand, I was the first person to bring like a trap brunch to a place like that. Like I had a brunch where it's like, all right, can I play my own music? All right, we're playing all Migos today. Like we're going to play Migos, and it brought in a crowd of not just people that look like me, people that didn't look like me, and they felt comfortable, and they felt like, okay, this is not just the scary thing from the Bronx. This is a party here in Gramercy in New York City, like a ritzy neighborhood. So I started doing shows like that, and I still get to do some comedy. I try to pop in there whenever I can. Comedy's tough right now. Everybody got really scary and safe, and it's hard to make like jokes these days. But I've been getting back into it. I actually have a show coming up. I haven't confirmed it yet, but it's coming up pretty soon in Lower Manhattan. I'll let you know. I'm sorry. I'll tweet that out when I get the date. Driving, sorry.
What's the scariest part about being on stage?
The scariest part about being on stage is like anything, because if you get up there and the worst feeling probably in the world is getting on stage and nobody laughs at your jokes, because one joke don't get them, the second joke don't get them, the third joke don't get them. You're just standing there like an asshole in front of people that are judging you harshly, and your profession is to make people laugh, and you get off stage without making anybody laugh. They tell you you're not funny, and it's like, oh, am I really funny, or is this a bad room? So the hardest part is just you never know what the people are feeling like. It could be like a bad energy in the room, a guy and his girlfriend could have just had a big argument. They don't want to laugh. They're still out, and they could be sitting in the front row, just and that energy transfers. But being up there and not knowing what to expect, and I don't have the greatest memory, so sometimes like my jokes, like I may forget something, and I like to do a lot of crowd work and just improvise. Improvisation is like my favorite thing in comedy.
Okay, so have you had one of those nights where nothing hit?
Absolutely, it's the most crushing experience I think ever. I remember the first time nothing hit for me. It was like one of the darkest days, but I was around some good people, like my comedian friends, like Giulio Gallerati, Ricky Velez, my friend Benny D. They were right there with me and just told me like, it happens. It happens to everybody. Let's get a gin and tonic and let's turn up. That's how it kind of went. And I just rolled off my shoulders there. So now it's kind of like I enjoy when nothing hits, because I get to really explore with the art form and like mess around and have my own fun. You know, sometimes if they're all laughing, you might have told a joke 100 times. That's fun for them, but you might not. You know, but you might just be going through the motions. But if nobody's laughing and you get to like mess around and go a different way with it, I think that's fun and artistically satisfactory.
You get one comedian to do a set to save your life. Who you picking?
If I pick one comedian to do a set, I would say Pete Davidson. Pete Davidson.
You talking about the
That's
what's her name's ex boyfriend?
yeah. He's a good. You know, I've known him for a long time. He's a hilarious person. One of those people that you never know what you're going to get on stage with him, but it's always going to be good no matter what. If he's having a good day, bad day, no matter what he's talking about, it's going to be funny. You know, I've seen that guy crack up a room just like going into his pocket to answer his phone and be mad at the text that he got and made that a hilarious thing. So I think, you know, somebody that I'm friends with is somebody that I think is very funny and talented. I think he'd be the one guy.
I've never seen him do a stand up.
Oh
I have
yeah,
to
he's
check
done
it
some
out.
pretty good stand up. He has a new special, Turbo Fonzarelli. It's out on Netflix right now. Just came out last month. Pretty good.
Okay, what's your dream show that you're looking forward to doing that you haven't done yet?
So my dream show right now is something that I'm actually working on now with my boy Sean here. Me and all my friends got together and we created a network, and it's called the Broken Hearted Boys. And we're working on like this show. It's like it's an all-encompassing show. It's a talk show. It's a game show. It's news. It's sports. It's a network that we've created. So this is like my dream project, and I'm finally getting to really work on it. And I think all the big ideas and dreams that I have and the support that I have with my friends that I grew up with from the Bronx, we're able to come together now and really make all these things a reality. You know, I've been working, like I worked at the WWE, I've worked in Major League Wrestling, I've worked all over and done a lot of fun and interesting things, but to get to do it again with the people that you care about, your friends, and do it in your own way creatively, it's great. So, for example, this summer, we're going to do like a basketball game. It's going to be like an ESPN level broadcast. It's going to be incredible. And just to be able to do that, like, okay, wow, I'm getting to do basketball, but in the same time, hey, we got a news show. So it's always been my dream to have like a network and, you know, draw from my talent pool and have unique ideas, but do anything that I want to do. And through this Broken Heart Boys network that we formed, this is like really a creative collective.
Hmm.
That's like been my dream. And it's something that I finally realized because I could take my skills and experience in television and I could take it to any company. I could go to ESPN, I go to the Yankees, I go to the Knicks, I can go to wherever I want to go really, but I want to do it in the Bronx. I want to make the Bronx feel extra special in terms of production. And I want to elevate people around me that could use like some help with the skills. Okay, like let me teach you how to make an actual TV broadcast. Like when we do the basketball game, it's going to look fantastic in terms of quality. It's going to be like I'm going to take the skills that I've learned in TV and I'm going to transfer it to like an independent broadcast. That's going to be my own personal network. And
Hmm.
you know, we never know where it goes from there. Maybe I start producing soccer games. Who knows? But whatever I want to do at this point, I have the network around me and the talented individuals that are going to help me push that to the next level. And I just feel like that's the most incredible thing and like my dream come true. I tell them all the time.
Well, if you need an old fat guy, let me know. I got you. Um,
Hey, look, you're part of my network now. We're doing this. Like, day one, I told you, hit me up. I'm like, man, you're all in. I said, I got to, you know, me and you, similar places where we started. You know, how'd you get into, I got to hear some more about your story. I'd like to hear more, as I was going to ask.
oh man, I've been doing this almost 10 years,
10 years, man.
and I was working at a hospital, and I had worked there almost a decade,
You,
and I
you want to
just
hear
want.
something crazy before the next thing you say? You know what I did before I did this?
What's that?
10 years ago, I worked at a hospital for almost a decade. Can you believe that? Montefiore Medical Center. They fired me. They fired me while I was doing my comedy, while I was doing my podcast. And then VH1 said, hey, you want to work here? And I said, sure. Funny and crazy stuff. I'm sorry I cut you off, but you worked at the
Oh,
hospital for 10 years?
and I decided, you know what? I'm tired of doing that. I cashed out my little 401k at the time, and I said, okay, I got X amount of dollars. I want podcasting wasn't really a thing at the time.
Yeah.
But and I started off on Blog Talk. I said I'm gonna make this a thing. It didn't work exactly like how I thought it would work. So I eventually had to go back to work, but I just couldn't stop. I can't stop doing it.
Yo, me and you have exactly almost the same exact journey. You know, only difference is I had a friend, one of my friends who I'm working with now, hooked me up with somebody that he knew at VH1, and I just took that shot, and I was able to transfer that into like a near 10-year career in television, which I would have never expected. Like, and like to my point about where taking any of this network stuff into any career field, I've seen that happen in my own career with like podcasting. I took podcasting into sports. I took podcasting into true crime, into reality, into scripted, into documentaries, like the same skills of pressing the button and learning timing and being funny and being a personable people and being interested in things and people, and transferred that into like a career. I mean, it's just a blessing, you know. I'm just blessed to be where I was and am.
I can't remember this white guy's name, but it's an old white guy that does interviews. He's like on a stage. It's just him and his guest, and they have like an auditorium full of people.
Yeah.
Like that's the goal for me. Like being able to do one interview a month, where I can research this individual from the time they were an embryo until now, and
Well,
just have really dope conversations with people. That's anything else is just a cherry on top.
well, you know, the beautiful part about me and you connecting is that now, where are you located?
I'm in Cleveland.
Okay, you're in Cleveland. Cleveland's not far. You have a network now. You have people that you know that want to make dreams come true. Like I said, any crazy idea, we can figure it out. You know, we'll get popular later, but we'll figure out how to do it. You know, like if you want to do that, there's always an auditorium, and I got my crew here. We're down to do anything and make it look super cool, and work on our productions and make anybody's dream come true with it.
That's pretty dope. Where are you talking about doing the basketball game?
So the basketball game, I leaked that here. I haven't really told a lot of people about that, but the basketball game is going to be like a Bronx thing. It's going to be like a whole, like I watched All-Star Saturday, Sunday. It was boring as hell. I'm like, yo, it should be more fun. They should have more fun with this. And I've always, been toying with the idea of resurrecting a lot of the stuff since I was at VH1 that they don't do. I've talked to them until I was blue in the face about bringing back Rock and Jock and all those cool shows. So I said, we should do that ourselves. If no one's going to do it, I'll do it. And it's going to be just as cool. So we're going to do it. I'm not sure if it's going to be indoors or outdoors, but it's going to be like a lot of talented people in the Bronx. I'm not going to say I'm going to get Cardi B because she's like not in the Bronx right now, but we're going to get a lot of the talent from the Bronx. And it's going to be filmed just in the same way that ESPN or any major production does it. And like a lot of artists, a lot of like movers and shakers that are in the Bronx, like my friend Muggsy McFly, like Jay Tips. These are really good and impactful people on the entire country, not just the Bronx, but that happen to be from the Bronx, and that I know that we're going to get together and we're going to make some magic happen. And just other people. I'm not going to play because I'm trash. I'm tall, but I can't play ball. I could absolutely set it all up and I could make it look fantastic and I could sell it, but I cannot play ball. I'm not going to enter the dunk contest. I might shoot 1 3-pointer. And if I miss, that's it.
I understand that. Although I do know a guy that works at Rucker Park.
Oh yeah, Rucker's amazing. But it's going to be something similar to like the Rucker productions. I was thinking outdoors is just about a matter of logistics, but something along the lines of, okay, this is fun. It's not the greatest players in the world, but we're having a good time and it looks good. It's competitive, lively crowd. It's going to be something along those lines, maybe indoor, maybe outdoor, but akin to the Rucker Park times Rock and Jock presentation. So it's going to be fun, and we're going to do it's going to be like it's not just the production, it's an entire family day. People could bring their kids out. There's going to be live performances. It's going to be an amazing thing to see for the community. And again, it's going to be in the Bronx where you don't have a lot of stuff like that. You don't have a lot of all-stars in the Bronx that are well represented, that are getting to show their stuff on any kind of level. But I want to present that stage.
Yeah, let me know, man. I'll definitely drive up there.
Yeah, come up. You're always welcome. If you want to come down to the studio, we're going to studios in the Bronx. It's again, I'm real Bronx heavy, so we're going to the studio right now. We have our own at the Muggsy McFly Studios in the Bronx, signed by McFly Studios rather. We have a full-fledged TV studio out of nowhere. We just built it up ourselves. We got equipment. We got everything that we needed, and now we're like a fully functioning TV studio. Like I said, we can do news, game shows, talk shows. We do several broadcasts already right now. Things are picking up, but there's only so many days of the week. So we do a couple different shows during the week. And the rest of the time, we're just trying to fill and we're trying to just figure out what products are worth our while.
So you say you also work with WWE?
Yeah, briefly. I was doing some writing there for the program SmackDown. This is like 20, let's call it 16, when I was like a young TV producer. I was like working there. And they made me several offers to work there, but I wasn't really interested in the position. They got to really drop the bag on me for me to work there full time.
Okay, wait, who's the biggest wrestler you met?
The biggest wrestler I've met, Shawn Michaels, HBK. He's probably the biggest one, and it's like I met him and couldn't say anything to him. That's the problem with all my friends I've met. Like, well, not Shawn Michaels isn't a friend, but the wrestlers. The thing about being a TV producer, you can't be a fan of anybody. You can't show that. So I was at the show last week at Major League Wrestling. So there's a lot of like famous people that I'm like, oh wow, I want to take a picture with this guy. I'm a fan of him. My little sister would like this. It's cool, but you got to be professional. You can't, say that. You can't say, hey, I've been a fan of you since I was 10 years old. No, it's like you hired a TV producer, a professional. You don't want a fan in your space. So with that, it's been difficult. So I don't have a lot of cool pictures with wrestlers, but I have a lot of good memories and breakfasts and stuff that I've had with people and just hanging out.
I mean, in today's society, everybody takes a picture with everything and everybody.
Oh, it's crazy that like as a work thing is just really inappropriate. That's like the thing. There's a producer's code with certain things you can't do. It could be like if I say I was like with Jordan, I couldn't really say anything to Jordan. I just have to be like, all right, Jordan, call time is this. I'd like you to do this, this, that. Can't be like I'm a big fan of yours, Michael Jordan. I'm sorry, because the distinction between fan and producer, I'm not sure. There's a line and there's an ethic. It's like being in medicine, the like HIPAA. It's almost the same as HIPAA. You got to just be professional, no matter how geeked out you might be about somebody. It's happened to me a lot of times.
And somebody, Lisa, I'm about to butcher her last name. I want to say Reader. She said if you ever need a photo booth for your events, she's your girl.
Lisa, follow me on Instagram, Biff Lawson. Let's connect. I definitely will need some people. I need some camera people. That's the thing. We have. I only have so many friends. We do need talent. We do need some camera people, but luckily I have some really talented friends like my boy Sean here. He's audio engineer, editor, extremely talented people. But I only have one Sean, and I have another guy named Sam, and I have another guy named Tony, and of course my friends Muggsy and Jawan. These are my main crew. There's only so many of us, and we need 6 cameras to get this thing looking like ESPN. So I need like 4 different people. So I'm always looking for talent, and we're expanding. And like I said, my vision for this thing is to have a building somewhere in New Jersey along the highway that has our name on it and says this is where we do things. This is where we produce. And it's like that in the Bronx, but on a larger scale, we're just going to move up when the time is right, when they're ready for us. But we're really going there. I'm going all the way with this thing. If
Why
there's
aren't
ESPN, there's the Biff Lawson network, there's the Signed by McFly network, there's the BHP network. There's all of our networks. We're going all the way.
why aren't you more of a household name?
I'm sorry?
Why don't more people know about you?
Because I stay underground. Like my whole thing, like I'm literally in some ways paid to be the best kept secret. Some people pay to keep me the best kept secret. They don't want me everywhere, and I don't want to be anywhere. Like for there's a lot of interviews I wouldn't do, but you're like I said, me and you, I felt that connection. I felt like, okay, this is something I want to be a part of. I want to help your journey, and I want to express myself here. But I'm also like, it's kind of a funny thing. Like there's people that like, oh, you know about him? Nah, he's our big secret. Like VH1, they had me writing for all kinds of shows, secretly. That's what the thing that producers would come to me and say when I was a brand new producer. They'd be like, hey, let's just biff this up for me, biff it up. And I kind of keep it that way. Like I don't ever really want to go mainstream unless there's like $1 million involved. Aside from that, it's beneficial for me to be a little underground, for you to discover me, because I like to make my magic on the low, make it cool. I don't want it to be like mass produced. It's always got to be that independent spirit that I have. I want to just keep that going and keep it alive.
Because I can remember it might have actually been an episode of True Crimes that I had just seen, and I'm scrolling through Twitter, and I see you, and that was in your bio, and I'm like, this, and then I start looking, I'm like, oh shit, and I'm one of those people like I've always been interested in the behind the scenes people.
Yeah.
Well, actually, it's a little self serving, but it's also that people don't get the shine they deserve.
Yeah. I
You
understand.
know, but like, hey, you like let's say I interview a manager. Well, that manager may have one person I might interview today. I might want to interview, but if I go after that one person, I may never get that person. But if I get the manager, and the manager enjoys the interview, I may get the next 6 clients. And I've actually had that happen. I've interviewed somebody, a manager, and they enjoyed the interview so much that they throw me interviews all the time now.
That's cool. I mean, I got some people for you. I got some. This is like an incredible network that's really developing here, and I think, but for me, for sure, I think it's by design. Like, I'm cooler. Like, I like to be that guy in the room. You know, I like to be the guy in the room that's cool. Like, especially like I said, being around a lot of celebrities, a lot of famous people. I do have that going for me. So I do like know a lot of famous people, and I'm in a lot of those circles. But I like to be the cool guy in the room, like with like a, let's say, a Pete Davidson. Like, okay, who's he hanging out with? Who's that guy? Who's that black guy that's dressed in all black with the shades on, chilling? I can remember one time, like the first time I met Charlemagne the God was at the Stand, right? And it's Charlemagne the God. I wasn't even too familiar with him at the time, but he's, you know, my boy introduced us, and I'm saying what's up to him. But everybody's coming over to me and saying hi. Everyone's coming to dap me up, and Charlemagne's like, "Who are you? Like, what do you do?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm a TV producer, but that's what I do, but that's not who I am. It's just like part of my thing. Like, I'm Biff, I'm a creative, you know, like finger's gonna thing, alligator's gonna alligate, Biff is gonna be a creator. Like, I'm just that guy, and I try to do it that way. I think it's like less stress. And I mean, like let's say 10 years ago, I was really getting popular in the podcasting scene, and I felt what came with that was like, I remember the first time I went to a Knicks game courtside, and like I just felt the hate from people that loved me before. I'm like, what's this about? Like, you see me work hard for this. Like, where's this energy coming from? Like, oh, you change. Like, going to like a party. One time I was going to a party. People like, what are you doing waiting online? I'm like, yo, I'm the same guy no matter who I am. Like, I'm respectful. I don't really need special treatment. If you know, you know. But there's a lot that comes with that popularity. There's a lot of negative that I don't really care for. There's a lot of, you know, if you're a man of the people, sometimes the people own you and they have ideas. Like, I like to own myself and like to be fully independent, like to, you know, the good things that come, they come, you know, and if you know, you know. That's the best part about it. You know, that's what I really believe in.
Where'd the name come from, Biff?
Was that?
Where'd your name come from, Biff?
So Biff, my name is actually Rudolph Anthony. That's my government name. I'm Rudolph Anthony III, named after my grandfather and my uncle. But I started rapping, let's say 2005. Like, I was rapping, but it was never something that I like originally took seriously, but I was good apparently. Like, I was just rapping to rap just for fun because, again, my friends in the Bronx, we had a studio called Rec House, and that's the name of the crew. We had a Rec House studio that I was going there and mess around, and people started saying, yo, you should actually rap. You're okay. So I go into the studio and everybody called me Rudy, and I get on the track and ask my man to shout me out. And he's like, Rudy. And I'm like, nah, that ain't going to work. So Biff, you know, from Back to the Future, which is my favorite movie, my friends used to say I was like kind of a bully when I was younger. So they said, yeah, they would call me Biff, like, yo, Biff, this is how you act. So when I got into the studio and had my boy shout out Rudy, I said, nah, I got to come up with something else. And some friends used to call me Biff. So I just went with that, Biff. And then Lawson, that's from another TV show. It's like a bully from a character from the show Recess was named Lawson. So we combined those names, like Biff and Lawson, and it just sounded crazy. Biff Lawson. And I just went with that on my like rap track. And then it became a thing. It became a new identity. It became a rebirth of sorts for me to be Biff Lawson, because it's just like I showed up to places, like I got hired for a wrestling company and I showed up as Biff Lawson, sight unseen. And they're like, you're the last guy that I would have assumed is Biff Lawson. So I'm like, yeah, it could be anybody. Biff is a typical country club white guy name in some respects. But for me, it's like, that's me. I'm Biff Lawson. And some people don't even know me as Rudy. You know me, but, you know, I'm Biff.
Actually, kind of both the names doesn't just fit a typical brother.
Rudolph Augustus Anthony III or Biff Lawson.
Yeah.
I'll take them.
Yeah.
I'll take them. I enter the room with those names and feel pretty damn about it.
Although Rudolph Augustus is some strong shit.
Tell you, and I'm the third. I got that shit tatted on me.
Hey man, but that you know, like you put your chest out. I'm Rudolph Augustus, nigga. Like I feel
that's what the paycheck. That's what the paycheck. You know, so it's like whatever. Damn right, that's me. You call me anything. That's when I meet a new girl. I tell you can choose. You call me Biff if that's what you're into. Rudy if that's what you're into. Never call me Rudolph though. That's what my mama and everybody call me in the bank.
What's the downside of being a producer?
The downside of being a producer is you don't really have much of a personal life. You're really good at it. Like I'm working 6 days a week, 7 really. because on my day off, I got to get a head start on the first day of the week. So I'm working 7 days a week. And you have to stay creative. The hardest part about being a creative is to make sure that you don't run out of creativity, which is like something that may happen. You know, if you like, you got to really bet on yourself that I'm gonna have a good idea every week for the next 52 weeks, or I'm not gonna get paid sometimes. And that's the hard part about it, is staying creative and staying motivated and keeping out of negative spaces, keeping out of negative people, and people telling you that you can't do something. That's the biggest thing, is people telling you you cannot do something, because I've been told time and time again that you can't do this. Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that for free? Somebody should be paying you. I'm like, don't worry, it's a process, and when the time is right, people are going to pay me, and they pay me nicely right now, and even nicer in the future when they drop the bag for the production company deal. You know, it's like I want it to be like how music labels were back in the day. You know, like you get an umbrella that you get to create under. But that's the hardest part, is naysayers and people believing you and not sharing your vision, and you know, forcing their limitations on you, and staying creative and motivated. So I don't sleep. I stay up at night just thinking about, dreaming about ideas. I got to write it down. I got to think about if it's ever been done. So I'm always on it. So the lack of personal time, and sometimes people don't understand that, hey, I cannot miss this thing. Like, I can't miss this event. I can't miss this interview. I cannot miss my commitments. I have to be there. I'm sorry. I missed a lot of birthdays, I miss funerals. I missed a lot of personal stuff, being a producer, but it is my dream, and it's what I had to do. And there's sacrifices I made, and I wouldn't give it up for anything.
I think the selfishness required for success is a overlooked.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very, you know, it's the worst thing, because at the same time, you know, you're doing all these things and you don't want to miss anything, but at the same time, you have to do it. And then, you know, the benefits of doing those good things and being that selfish kind of outweigh it. You know, you could help your family out, you can help your friends out, you could be generous, you could do stuff, you could dress better, you could live in a better place. You know, it's all good on the other side. You know, any birthday that I made, that I missed, I'm like, all right, cool. God forbid anything ever happened to you, we'll make it up. We'll have dinner on Tuesday. So like I always tell girls, I work on Friday and Saturday at On Patrol Live on Peacock. So I said I'm the king of the Tuesday night dating circle, or the Thursday night dating circle, because that's the time I'm available. You
So
know,
I'm
I'm not.
fucking up your date night too, huh?
Yeah. I'm like, yo, I'm the king of Tuesday dates. We'll go to wherever you want to go to taco. I've been on a lot of Taco Tuesdays for real.
Oh, I love Taco Tuesday.
Yeah, it happens all the time. But
Oh,
you know, it's just part of that. That's just part of the journey. It's difficult. It's not easy, and just being creative. Sometimes, also with being a producer, you're the one whose idea that everybody, like, you're the person whose vision that everyone's trying to execute. The camera people, the sound people, the extras, the production assistants, they're trying to execute your vision. And if your vision isn't up to par, none of these people believe in you. None of these people believe in the production. So you got to be buttoned up. You have to be serious. You have to dress nice. You have to be on time. You have to be positive. You have to be motivated. You have to say thank you to your people. It's like you have to really look after the people that believe in you. And that's another hard thing that people don't really see about being a producer.
how difficult is it for you to say no?
See how difficult is what?
Is it for you to say no?
Oh, it's not difficult at all. I say no oftentimes because I've reached a level where people do want to collaborate with me often, and it's a little, you know, you get just people that want to do things, and it's like, I can't do that. I can't give you I can't do everything for you. I get that you have an idea, but it's your idea. You're gonna have to make it happen, and you're gonna have to, you know, this is a job. You're gonna have to pay to make it happen. I can't just. There's a lot of people that just give me their project. Like, I wish this idea worked, and I'm like, me too, but for me to take it on, I got to put my all into it. So I can't give you my all for free. I can't give you my all because we're kind of friends, you know. But like with the production team, the Broken Heart Boys collective, that's where I give my all to. That's where I give my Tuesdays to. That's where I give my Thursdays to. So I'm the king of the Wednesday date right now. But you know, it's just about saying no and saying yes to the right opportunities. And it's, you know, you try not to say no upwardly. Like, you know, if it's NBC that comes to me with something, I'm probably not going to say no to that. But if it's not to say anything bad about music videos, I'm like, I don't really do that kind of thing. I do things that would help me benefit my people, that will help me grow, that will build my network. Like I do a lot of stuff in comedy still. I make a lot of deals. Like, you know, for example, do a lot of TV bookings for comedians and shows like that. But as far as something else, just like Joe Schmo, I mean, it might be more difficult unless it's somebody you believe in, unless it's somebody that looks like me, unless it's somebody that, you know, has a good approach. You know, I'm not going to say no, but I have said no to a lot of projects and a lot of people just because it's like, nah, something that would benefit me. And that sounds selfish, but I've been through this. Like, I've been in this game a long time, and I've been screwed over. I've been taken advantage of as a young creative. And now you got to learn at some point to say no when I'm like, this obviously is bullshit. I'm not going to do this one. No, I'm sorry.
So what's the biggest situation where you felt like you got taken advantage of?
So, that, you know, I'm not going to say any names of companies, but there are companies, a lot of companies. Yeah, I'm a very, like, I'm an ideas guy. I come with ideas, even if it's not my shit. I'm like, you know, you could do A and B and then see what happened. And I might not even be involved, but there's been situations where I've given like major companies ideas. Like, for example, one year I was doing like a slew of breast cancer shows. I don't have, you know, I'm not a breast cancer candidate. I've never been involved in that world. I'm not a woman, but the idea was mine, and there's a charitable, you know, effort. And then the next year I'm off that list. I'm not on the, I'm like, who'd you get to do this show? I'm like, oh, okay, but it's my show. Like, I brought you the idea and I'm just cold out of it. So it's things like that. And then, you know, when I was starting out, it's funny. I had this idea like to do similarly what we're doing right now with the Broken Heart Boys delegation. I wanted to build a creative collective around people that I know, and at the same time, I tried it with somebody that somebody that didn't know well, somebody that, you know, I felt took advantage of me. I pulled all the people from my network. You know, I had them believing in me, and this person backed out of everything that he said. He didn't fulfill his promises. He didn't keep his word. He made me look like an idiot in front of all the people that believed in me. So I had to start from scratch again to get people to believe in me all over again. And that's never an easy thing. That's kind of difficult. And you got to believe in yourself at that same time too. Like, well, let me make sure that I can still do what I said. And that's 10 years ago. And literally, I'm only getting back to that point where I have everybody, like I said, I pulled my network and have all my people believing in me, which is just the goal and the dream.
So that was the last time you doubted?
My bad. I'm switching to so the last time I doubted myself?
Yeah.
Oh.
Was that the last time?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. It sounds a little different though.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm switching to my AirPods because I'm on the street. I'm gonna hop out. I'm gonna actually show you where we are in the studio. So I made it up to the Bronx.
The audio definitely sounds distinctly different though.
Better or worse?
Worse.
Oh my God. I'm gonna get inside the place right here. So this is where we are. Like I said, our name is in lights up here. This is my boy studio, Muggsy McFly. I'm gonna get inside right here. Switch back to my audio. But the last time I doubted myself, you know, I had a run in December where I didn't feel as creative as I did. I'm gonna pop them right here. Switch off this AirPod thing. I'll be
Yeah.
Sorry, here we are in this video. Got you, but last time I doubted myself in December, I wasn't having a great time creatively. I felt like I was losing it. You know, I just got out of a relationship that wasn't really going well for me, and I felt like I needed to, you know, start from step one again. Like, why I do this, like what motivates me, how I feel about being a creative. Oh, I forgot there's like more studio stuff. But December, I started again, as if I never did this before and remembered why I'm a creative. I got my boys in here. See, we got the whole studio. This is Mr. McFly here, who I mentioned. Very talented individual. This is one of the guys that helped me never doubt myself because he always believed in me. Nice guy. We designed that. We're gonna go into the studio, give you like a live tour. So here's the studio.
Yo, hold on, Playboy, turn around, turn that back around. Let me see them pictures. Yeah, show me those. I'm just like wildly into art.
So this is a lot of his collaborations. He's a fashion designer.
Okay.
So some of the people he designed with, Jim Jones wearing his sneakers. This is Young Thug before the jail stuff. See, we have a lot of ties to Back to the Future here. So He's McFly. I'm Biff. You know, that just kind of
Yo,
happened.
wait, that's crazy right there. That one picture.
Yeah, so that's like, this is the studio. So we just did a sneaker release. So like I said, the sky's the limit here. We just dropped these sneakers. Look at this.
Yo,
This is called the Cyber Clog.
that's
So
crazy.
yeah, so this is where we create. This is the podcast studio.
Oh, those definitely look like the Marty McFlys from back in the day.
So we just had a big event here Sunday. And again, like all the clothing and the hats and stuff. So it's very hard to doubt myself with these people around me. I have a good circle, and these are like, again, we grew up together, personal friends, and we all had the same dreams. So it's just been a thing.
Is too much responsibility on you?
I feel up to the challenge. I wouldn't say it's too much. I'm just one of those guys. I guess some people claim to be leaders or boss. I never say I'm a boss. Like never a leader. If you want to follow me, follow me. But I believe in myself, and I'm crazy in that way that I feel like I could do anything. There's nothing that I cannot do. That's why I said with the network, what we're planning to do sounds crazy, but once we do it, it's going to be like, oh, wow, somebody had to have that vision. I never feel like it's too much. It's just keep going. Keep going. Like I said, I've been doing this for 10 years, and I've been going from working in the hospital, going from any of that stuff to where I am now. It's just like I would have never done it if I thought it was too much or if I thought I couldn't. So I believed in myself, and people believed in me along the way, and they watched me keep going. And, you know, some people helped, some people didn't, but I never felt like it was too much. It always felt like it was just enough, and it's exactly where I need to be.
Any thoughts on transitioning to feature films?
So feature film, that's an interesting one. So right now I'm in the world of like authentic creativity, and feature films is along, like we're gonna get there. Like we're gonna get there. Like I have an idea for a movie, and it's something that, like, I'm talking to somebody about it, but it's the same thing as anything else. You have to learn the world. Like I'm not familiar with the feature film world all the way. Like I'm very familiar with reality stuff. I'm very familiar with sports because that's what I've done. And I'm the kind of person that has to get into it and has to learn every aspect of it. I get obsessive about stuff. I'm like, I want to learn the aspects of film. I want to learn how to cut a movie. I want to learn what kind of movies that I should cut. Like I have an idea, but because, you know, my idea, I want it to be original. I don't want it to be something that's ever seen before. Even if it's a subject that's been already approached or like an area that's already been approached, I want to make it originally and do it the Biff way. Like that's why I feel like I do everything my way. I want to do it in a unique way where it's creative and it's different. You know, unexpected is my thing. So feature films is down the line. There's definitely an idea that I have personally that I've had since 2005 that I have not executed yet. But I believe very soon, like let's say within the next 2 years, I'm going to get into that world. And we're going to have a premiere somewhere, and you're invited, and it's going to be fantastic.
Where do I buy some of the fashion that you guys putting out? Some of the shoes. Where do I buy those shoes at?
Signedbymcfly.com. I don't know if I have a website, but these just came out. The Cyber Clog is really fantastic. Uniquely designed over like a 3-year period. It's just one of the most incredible things. And he has shoes. Actually, not Barney's. I said Barney's. That's dating myself. Nordstrom and Neiman Marcus, I do believe, have Simon McFly now, which is another thing. This guy started out here making his own T-shirts and shorts, and he's in the designer stores now.
Yo, that's crazy.
Nordstrom has his shoes. I believe the Cyber Clogs are on there. I'd have to Google that, but you can walk into the store on like Fifth Avenue and pick these up.
Oh, then you don't. Yeah, that was out of my price range there, Playboy.
Talk to me after.
And Lisa had another question. She wants to know if you are in a relationship now. She's helping me out.
No, right now I'm not. No, I got out of a relationship. That was difficult for me in terms of being a creative. That's another part about being a producer that they don't tell you. That, like, I got started on this show, and then my Fridays and Saturdays evaporated, so that changed the nature of my relationship, my availability. So that kind of sent my last relationship south, and that wasn't a great relationship anyway. But now, that's some of the no's I have to say is like, oh, I can't go out today. I can't go to the show. I can't be there. So I sacrificed some of that, but no relationship.
kind of looking, kind of not, you know.
It's almost like you probably is gonna have to find a woman as driven as you,
Yeah.
but then you're
That's,
gonna end up having the same problems from her end.
yeah, yeah. No, I kind of was in a situation like that already with someone that's like in my industry. It's just a lack of availability. It's like, okay, you're over there doing that. I'm over here doing this. We got time in the middle, but you know, it's not like normal people relationships where you're just sitting around at breakfast at IHOP talking shit. And I would love that, but there's not time every day for that. You know, there's not
You got
always.
kids?
No, no, no. So that's the thing. I started this TV journey and entertainment journey. Like I said, I was working at the hospital for 10 years when I was like 29. And I went all in at 30 and 31. And that's been my focus for the long time. So I don't have children.
Any regrets?
Can't say I have a single one. Like I would not change a minute of my experience. Even the bad things I'm grateful for. They're not that bad relatively to some people have had tragic lives. Me, I've been blessed. I've been highly favored. I'm in a great situation in terms of everything. I'm the happiest I've ever been. I'm the healthiest I've ever been. I'm the oldest I've ever been, and I'm the youngest I'm ever going to be right now. So I'm appreciative for all that.
If anybody wants to get in contact with you, how do they go about doing that?
So, you know, I'm on Twitter/X at Biff Lawson. That's BIFFLAWSON, or Instagram there. And I'm pretty responsive, as you can attest to, that I'm there. My Twitter's a lot more, I'm more popular on Twitter, I would say. I have a larger following and base on there, and it gets a little crazy with the people that love police. So I have a lot of police followers and followers from Middle America, which are great people. I love those folks. Instagram is kind of more my personal, messing around. Here I am in the gym today. Here's what's funny to me. So on Twitter or Instagram, I'm on everything as Biff Lawson. Facebook, if that's your thing. Yeah, and then also at Muggsy McFly on Instagram and Twitter. That's where you can see all the shows of Broken Heart Boys. So follow Muggsy McFly.
Yo, and Twitter has just become so racist.
It has become, Twitter's difficult, man. I was on it today, like just kind of had some time down, and I was on Twitter just scrolling, and people, you could see the same people just over and over stating negative thoughts. Negativity is being spread so fast, and a negative thought, you know, spreads a lot faster than a great idea. And Twitter is full of that. Like it could be literally somebody sitting there all day tweeting out negative things instead of uplifting. I'm very big on uplifting the community, very big on being positive. That's like my craziness, is that I'm super positive and that I focus on positivity highly. But, you know, Twitter is kind of nuts.
Man, I have, like, especially over the last year, the white supremacists have taken Twitter over, and Elon has gladly given it to him.
Yeah, he's created a space where it's just like, you know, even with the other way without him, when it was like highly censored, it's like there's a pendulum that swings one way. It's like too censored now to make up for that side. People are just being horrendous. They're horrible. It could be anything, and and a lot of the time, it's just nothing that has to do with them, especially with like race relations. It's just negativity and stuff being spewed like nonstop, and that's like the most difficult thing to see, and it's like hard to turn away from that. You know, I've got that a few times in my career where, because I'm a black man, people have insinuated that my success has not been of my own volition and my own drive. It's been because of my position, and it's no matter where I've been, not just in television but also in the hospital. I rose up to the ranks of manager there, and people are like, "Oh, you're just that," because I'm like, "Oh no, I'm really good at this." It's like film and TV. I'm like, "No, I'm really good at this. It's not because I'm black. I'm good at whatever I put my mind to." And I'm very,
Which is wow, because they are extremely dismissive of nepotism
yeah,
and
nepotism.
legacy admissions, and you know the things that benefit them. Oh, that's not a problem. That's just how things are done.
Mm-hmm.
But oh no, not you, nigga. You got to get a handout.
Yeah,
And it's
always.
like we got to work 8 times as hard as you, bro.
10. Like I'm in a room. Like this is my like I had a time in, like, let's say December. I was like I was trying to help. I was working with somebody that was difficult, and they were bringing me down to a level of, okay, this isn't perfect. This is like not up to my par. And it was like the perception of me not being excellent. It's not even that I wasn't good. It's I have to be excellent to be considered normal. And a lot of people don't work as hard, they don't do as much, and it's like they don't have to face that same perception. Because I've had 1 or 2 days where I was only pretty damn good and not exceptional, people like spoke to me and said, "Hey, everything okay with you?" And I'm like, "No, everything is fine." So like I said, when I said I had to start back from square one, I had to remember, like, okay, this is what I do, this is how I do it. I'm going to go ahead and do it the way that I've always wanted to. I'm not going to take any new approaches. I'm going to fall in love with producing. I'm going to fall in love with this. I have to love even the bad times, love the bad days. I got to love it all as the fix for this problem. You know, I had to love the bad. I had to love the negativity, but it's there. And people don't work as hard as me at all in my field and at the first 48 in any of these shows. Like, for example, I was doing live PD and for first 48 at the same time. That's a 9 to 5, right? On first 48. Then I'm doing 5 to 12 on live PD. Sometimes I don't finish everything, and I'm going back to first 48 from 1 a.m. to 4 a.m. And I'm going to finish the first 48 because it's important that I do all this stuff, you know? I was in a spot where I was busting my ass for many years to get ahead. And then when I got ahead, the people that I worked with, oh, this guy's they needed a black guy. I'm like, you weren't with me at 1 a.m. in Lower Manhattan busting your ass. You were home.
Asleep.
You were at brunch. You had dinner with your family. You didn't sacrifice how I sacrificed. So the fact that I got ahead and I moved up in like a quick fashion, if some people want to say, the time it took me to rise to like senior producer in like a television sense was not that long, but that's because I worked twice as hard and twice as long. I worked 7 days a week for the last 5 years since 2019 and nonstop, no foot off the brakes. I'm a little more gray now, but it's worth it. Like I said, no regrets.
Yo, man, I cannot possibly thank you enough for this. This has been a very enlightening interview.
Thank you so much. I mean, I'm here anytime you need me. I'd love to come back on and talk about some upcoming projects, you know. But I'm very grateful for you. Thank you so much for considering and having me on. And I'm glad that you get to see our creative space here. This is one of the studios. This is the fashion studio where we do like design and we dress like celebrities and all kinds of stuff here. And I'm glad that you can hear us and then follow us. So where I'd like your people to check us out, Wednesday night at 8 o'clock on, Muggsy McFly at Instagram. That's where we do Broken Heart Boys live every week. And I'm there, and that's like the bread and butter. That's like my baby. That's like my favorite project that I've ever worked on. And it's fun. And we've gone viral several times over the last month. Like, this is the first year where we like kicked the door down with the New Year's Eve stream, and we're going all the way with that too. And from January to now, we went viral like 4 times, or probably more. 4 is just being like reserved, but I'm sure it's like more, like probably double.
All right, yeah, I just followed y'all too.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in.
Lord. I'm sorry, I was looking at one of y'all.
No worries, man. You see, so we're getting there. We're getting there. If you know, you know. That's the theme. If you know, you know. You don't know, but it's the best kept secret. Like Biff Lawson is the best kept secret. Just make sure you tell somebody, but don't tell too many people. Just tell the cool people.
I got you, man. And I'll put out some clips this weekend, man. And if there's anything I can possibly do for you, please let me know, and I got you.
Much appreciated, my brother. I'm going to get upstairs. We're going to get this show started now, too.
All right, man. Enjoy yourself, man. Shout out to your team, man. And let me know about those shoes, too.
Got you. Send me a DM right now, and I got you. I'll take care of you.
All right, I got you.
All right, man. Peace out.
All right, peace. Yo, man, yeah, I chase the numbers. We chasing legends over here. That's all I can say, man. It's what you do to get you on the show, but it's your story that makes you stand out. This has been Jobs. This has been another episode of Intellectually Petty Radio, and y'all have a good one, man. I'll be back next week at 5 o'clock. Matter of fact, let me check and see who we got next week. And we got Charles Murray at 5 o'clock and El Michelle at 7 o'clock. Should be 2 more dope shows. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the YouTube channel, which is Intellectually Petty Radio. And you see that at the top of the screen. But anyway, on that note, I'm out. Y'all have a good one.